Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Today I would like to talk about Hugo Vlad. We're gonna get him in the second phase of 1.7 patch, and in this video I would like to talk specifically if it's valuable to pull Hugo Vlad, because we have now further information regarding Ishuan and also a possibility of old characters such as El and Joe getting buffed in 2.0 patch, and I would say this changes quite a lot whether you would want to get Hugo Vlad or not. Of course, as a fair disclaimer, pull for who you like. If you do like Hugo Vlad as a character, you can go for it and make him work. This video is going to be more dedicated for people who care about meta, value, and so on, I guess. So let's begin with Hugo Vlad. He's a nice attack DPS character. He has something that's pretty nice going on for him, which is the ability to play with double stunner teams. So effectively, he does not take a support slot away from your other teams. He does kinda give some leeway for your other teams, although for himself, he will want two stunners, ideally on his release Lighter plus Lycaon, and later down the line, very likely Lycaon will be replaced by Yufufu. I guess I can also mention quickly Yufufu and Lighter. As of right now, it seems Yufufu has more personal damage than Lighter, but both are good in its own ways. However, for Yufufu, I would recommend considering her specifically if you want to go for Yixuan. We'll get to talk about Ishuan within this video a bit as well, because there is quite a lot of information and findings regarding this character as of right now. But in short, she has a specialized element, which is effectively ether damage, and also she is a new class role specialty called Rapture. In short, Rapture units specialize in ignoring enemy defense. They have a new stat called Sheer Force, Sheer Damage that gets replaced instead of pen ratio stuff. Also, instead of energy generation, they have rage generation. So they do work quite differently compared to what we have right now. Ishuan looks quite strong, but I would not be surprised that over the course of this beta changes and stuff, she's gonna be tuned in a way where she's either gonna be on Miyabi level or slightly stronger or something like that. She is a special unit after all, anniversary unit on top of that. That is why if you care about making this game easier, having a easy time, having something strong to play with, Yixuan is definitely a strong pickup. And the unfortunate reality is that Hugo Vlad is getting released just before her, and on top of that, with the possibility of El and Joe getting buffed, I would say the value of picking Hugo Vlad from a meta perspective is much lowered, because you already happen to have El and Joe on your account and she's about to, let's say, receive these buffs in 2.0 according to these rumors, then she could be potentially on par or even maybe slightly stronger than Hugo Vlad. But regardless whether she's stronger or about the same as Hugo Vlad after those buffs, you would still have a nice ice attacker coverage on your account. So I would not really recommend going Hugo Vlad then. Also, I would like to let you know, guys, that a lot of you who watch me are not subscribed. If you'd like to support this small channel, feel free to subscribe. It's completely free of charge. Smile. And now let's continue with the video. The best course of action would be to not pull Hugo Vlad on day one and simply wait a bit later as we get more information. Even from the live stream, they will tell us officially whether Ellen gets these buffs or not. But if she does, then I would say the Hugo value definitely drops quite a lot. But don't get me wrong, Hugo is still strong as a character. However, if you do want to make this game easier and having an easier time to brute force endgame content stuff, picking characters that are on Miyabi level is definitely gonna be better to do so. And Ishuan pretty much seems to be on its way to become like that. That is why I would highly recommend to simply save as many pulls as you can to try to get Ishuan. Ishuan will also have a nice free-to-play team option to play with, which is with the Panda guy, Pani Hu, I believe that's how it's called, which should be on her banner, very likely. And then you can pair it up with something like Lucy. Unfortunately, you will not be able to take advantage of Nicole within Yixuan team, so you'll have to use Lucy with Panda effectively as a free-to-play option, simply because defense shred and pen ratio effects do not work with Yixuan. The sheer stat, sheer force, sheer damage, all that stuff, it's its own multiplier calculation, which which ignores defense, and it does not synergize / work at all with defense down, penetration, stuff like that. Also, we can kind of speculate what potential buffs LNGO might receive simply by looking at Lost Void. Feel free to pause the screen if you want to read them in detail. Some of this stuff might end up on buffed, reworked Ellen, but I don't know if they're gonna put all of this stuff on her, because this would make her very, very, very powerful, and very likely the numbers would be also different. Also, might be wondering how they will handle the reworked, buffed characters. Wouldn't there be like a problem where people who paid for the original character might have a problem with this new altered character? Well, it seems they have a system in place that you will be able to decide whether you want to enhance the character or not. But as of right now, it seems it's not possible to revert back to their initial state if you do decide to enhance them. We also have some similar information in Honkai Star Rail regarding this stuff. However, in Star Rail version, they did allow you to have a toggle, so this information here, it is a bit kind of conflicting and weird. Take it with a massive grain of salt, but either way, I believe that they will give you an option regarding accepting these changes or not, because people who bought the original character and being this, let's say, drastically changed, they could potentially sue the company or something like that, and this way they simply avoid this problem in entirety, or I would say even any potential complaints, because you would not be forced to accept the change of your character. Although I would argue that the rework and change of the character would be very beneficial, because Ellen could end up being quite strong once again and a very desirable unit, and especially for people who had Ellen Jo all this time, getting her potentially buffed in 2.0 sounds very promising. And if that truly happens, then I would say Hugo Vlad value will tank quite a lot down. But once again, pull for who you like. You know, if you're a Husband enjoyer, feel free to go for Hugo Vlad. I mean, he's still quite strong and you'll be able to clear content with him just fine. But in terms of like pull value, I wouldn't really recommend you to like, hey, pull Hugo Vlad before this strong crazy anniversary unit, or especially when you already have, let's say, LNG on your account sitting and potentially getting buffed literally next patch. I guess this is it for this video. If you have any questions, like to add anything yourself, feel free to write it within the comments down below. And of course, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a like and all that stuff. Smile, and yeah, I guess this is truly it. I wish you a wonderful day and see you in the next video. Ciao.